Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. Look here, y'all. Most of the stories that I share on my show are about people that are incarcerated, people in prison, or people that are into the criminal lifestyle, on the streets, whatever, right? But in this episode, I'm going to share with you a story about three officers that I knew about years ago that worked in the system and wanted to get some money. Now, I don't share this story to embarrass them. In fact, I'm not even going to mention their names. I tell this story as a cautionary tale for those men and women that, for whatever reason, that if you're working in an institution, that you decide that, this is an opportunity for you to take advantage of the people that are in prison and make money off of them. And I guess that some of you might take issue with the way that I described that as far as saying taking advantage, because I believe that's what it is. People in prison are one of those vulnerable populations, as they call it, in this country. Uh, we, the reason that we are labeled a vulnerable population is because we have to depend on, rely on somebody else for every single thing that we have and every single thing that we do. We don't get to make decisions for ourselves in most cases. We are told what to do and we have to do what we're told. And that's just what it is. And anytime that you see somebody that finds themselves in a situation to work in a place like this, and they take, in my opinion, advantage of that to continue to participate, or to get the people that are working, that are living in prison, to participate in criminal activities, they're not serving the public any good, and they're not serving the people that are in prison. You're not helping them at all. I think that the people that work in these facilities should be more of role models as opposed to co-conspirators. Let's say it like that, right? But that's why I do this show. That's why I do this show, because at the end of the day, like I've always said, I want to deter people from this lifestyle and this mindset, because it only leads you down a dark road. And I think a lot of people don't really factor that in, when they got a bill that's due. They just think about paying that bill, and however they need to pay that bill, they go about doing that in some cases without realizing what they're going to be sacrificing, what they're going to be giving up, right? But look here, y'all. Listen up. This is a good one, y'all. This is a good one. So y'all sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now check me out, y'all. Look here. It's these three officers, right? Now this was a long time ago, in the early 2000s. These three officers, two men, one woman, and they wanted to get some bread. They wanted to make some money. So it was this brother that I was cool with, you know what I'm saying, back in the day when I was still in rotation. Y'all know what that is. And he came to me and he told me, he said, man, officer such and such approached me and said, man, if I wanted to get some money, I should holler at him, right? I said, did he now? Now, keep in mind, I've heard a lot of brothers say that, and I really don't pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't back in the day because I had my own route. I was doing my own thing. So I'm not really concerned about stuff like that, right? Plus, you got to watch a lot of these brothers that come up to you and tell you things because they just like to talk. You feel me? Now, I do understand why this brother brought it to me. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I'm the 9, so he's really trying to get in, you know what I'm saying, get in good with me. So I'm seeing why he's doing that. Plus, I had product out there on the town, so he's probably trying to open up another avenue for me and himself. So that's why he brought it to me. But anyway, I'm like, did he now? And he was like, yeah. I said, okay. I said, what you gonna do with that? Because back in the day, I was still doing what I did. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, I was about that life, as they say. So I said, what you gonna do with that? And he told me, he said, man, I'm gonna see what's going on with it, right? So he hollered back at the officer. Now, keep in mind, I'm on the ball field watching him. He's being discreet as he can be, but how discreet can you be when you got 200 or 300 people out there running around, lifting weights, running, playing basketball, softball, and all of these other things, right? So he's standing there talking to the officer, but nobody's around, but I'm peeping it, and they ain't really getting into the conversation. You know what I'm saying? So then another officer comes down the hill, and they all three are standing there, and the conversation is going on. Now, I'm curious now. I'm sitting there looking, me and my number 2, watching the scene and seeing what's going on. And I'm like, dang, it must be something to this. Must be something to this. But then I got to thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute. Who's going to bring it in? If these two officers are part of it, now keep in mind, he hadn't told me what that conversation was about. This is just me, you know what I'm saying, brainstorming. Now I'm like, I don't really like dealing with male officers, you know what I'm saying? Because the truth of the matter is this. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that safe like that. Now, some of them, you know, they'll stick it up in them, you know what I'm saying? That type of thing. But, you know, females, you know, they got that safe. And y'all know what I'm talking about. And I was more comfortable, you know what I'm saying, if it would have been a female. You feel me? But it is what it is. So when he came back and hollered at me, he said, look here, bro. He said, man, I need to break some stuff down to you. I said, go ahead and give me the scoop, man. I said, I saw you over talking to them two officers. I said, he part of it too? That other officer that walked down there. He was like, yeah. He said, man, but you ain't going to believe this. It's a third person involved. I said, wait a minute. That's too many for me. I said, you got 3 officers going to be making the move? He was like, no. He said that it was a female that they work with that would be bringing the stuff in. They just made sure, you know what I'm saying, that they want you to buy it from them, and then they get their money like that, and then she brings it in, and you pay her. I'm like, let me see. So I could basically stop buying my stuff from down the way, you know what I'm saying, all the way back in the middle, buy it local, probably cheaper, get it brought in, probably a little cheaper, because I'm not having to pay for gas and people having to come to visit and all of that kind of stuff for my mules, you know what I'm saying? So I got to thinking about it. I said, I don't know though, man. I said, I'll tell you what. I said, you try it first, and then you tell me how it works. And that's when bro told me, I said, I ain't got no money. I said, I'm going to front you the money, but don't you put my name in it. Have you told them about me? He was like, nah, I don't want nobody else to know. You know what I'm saying? That me and you doing business. I said, nah, don't you tell nobody about me then. So I gave him the money. We had green money back then. I gave him some green money. He take it to the officers. They're going to bring one zip of weed. So he buys it from him, brings it in. So when bro brought the pack to me, again, like I said in other episodes and things that I talk about of this nature, you know, it had the black electrical tape on it, right? So I was like, oh, okay. It made me wonder, is this something that was already in here? You know, because back in the day, I'm going to tell y'all something. You know, when guys in the penitentiary get busted and they confiscate that evidence, they put it up somewhere, right? So I'm thinking, maybe these officers got access to the evidence room. They just trying to sell stuff that they've already confiscated off the compound. Just put it back out there like that, right? That's what I was thinking. Because I'm looking at this black electrical tape, you know, and I'm thinking, Now, I'm going to get a little grimy with this, y'all. Got to think about this. Because if a female bought it in, might have a little smell to it. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm not trying to say that the person is nasty. I'm just saying, coochie smell a certain way, okay? Let's just get past that, okay? So I'm thinking, I wonder if this came in. But then I also understand, you know, they put a balloon on it. They probably done took the balloon off. All of these things are running through my mind, right? But I'm like, I don't know, because I don't like to get played. It's a few dollars. It ain't that important, but I don't like to get played. Plus, if they're stealing stuff out of the evidence room, then it's going to make the compound hot anyway in a few minutes. And I don't want no parts of that because that'll mess up the economy. You feel me? And when I talk about the economy, I'm talking about how money moves on the compound, y'all. You got to always keep that in mind when you're doing dirt. So I go back to bro. I said, look, I'm out. I said, I'm going to let you do what you do. You keep the money off that, make your money, run a few times. After a while, you know what I'm saying, you able to pay me back. But I don't really want nothing to do with that. I said, there's too many things that I don't feel. It ain't making sense to me, right? He was like, why would you do that, bro? He said, man, this is gold right here. He said, man, it was easy. You know what I'm saying? And plus, they can protect us. I said, I don't need no protection from them. I do what I do. The life is what it is, man. It's ups and downs, peaks and valleys in this thing, right? They can't protect you if somebody over them say, come get you. What that mean? Because now you're making me think if they came to you and said, look, we got you, but you need to give us somebody that we can give to our supervisor, that you'd give up somebody. So nah, don't think that they can protect you, homeboy. Remember that. Don't ever think that. Because that's how the game goes. So he goes on about his business. Right now, I make sure my number two knows what's going on. I let him know. I tell him everything. So me and him, we both come up with the same thing. Let him do him. He goes on. So now, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Bruh blew up. I'm talking about he shaking the spot. He getting something every 2 or 3 days bought into him. Right? So one day, he comes to me for some advice. Now, I'm seeing the move now. I done seen the female. I see all 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? They getting their money. They started out slow, but now they've picked up a little steam. It's really causing some competition on the compound. He's coming with everything. He got weed, cocaine, pills. You know what I'm saying? He's loaning out green money. He's doing his thing. I ain't no hater or nothing like that. I'm not mad at him at all. But now I'm paying attention, though, because when he starts to mess with my money, you know what I'm saying? It's all fair in love and war, especially when you're talking about that bread. So now I'm watching just to see what he's got going on, right? And now he's talking to this female a whole lot. When he comes to me, he says, "Hey, bro." Now, this is the type of brother he is. He greeted. He said, "Man, I'm finna try something." I said, "What you finna try? What you finna do?" I said, "Don't mess up nothing, man. Because if you mess up something with them, you know what I'm saying, they might start retaliating on the compound." I said, "Cause we ain't doing no telling. You ain't finna tell on them. You feel what I'm saying? We don't do none of that. If they get caught, they get caught, but ain't no telling." I said, "What you finna do?" He said, "Man, I'm trying to get that gal, man, so I can just get her to cut them off, and then I'm gonna start supplying the stuff myself, right? I got brother them out there, man, that I've been sending my money to. They were like, why don't I buy it from them?" I was like, "Bro, you got a solid move. You got a local connect. You don't need to do none of that." He was like, "No, man, I'm just trying to do something, man. I'm finna holler at her." He said, "Can you give me some advice on that?" I said, "What you trying to do? You trying to fuck on the gal or something?" He was like, "Man, I'm just trying to see if I can break her free from them, right?" I said, "Okay, I'm going to tell you what you do. This is what you do. Pop your whip. Tell her that she can make more money if she just take a little ride, pick up something from your people. You pay for the gas and everything. On her day off, she make that ride, you know she's willing to break free from it. If she don't make that ride, she ain't willing to break free." Now, let me explain something to y'all out there, y'all people that might find yourselves in this situation. When you kiss the devil, you don't get to tell them they can't have none. You understand what I'm saying? Now, look, for those of you that don't understand, let me explain it to you like this. You ever heard of the saying, be careful and don't open up Pandora's box because you can't control what comes out of it? That's what I mean when I say don't kiss the devil. See, by her agreeing to go down that highway, she kissed the devil. Mwah. Or a big old wet sloppy kiss. You feel what I'm saying? She done kissed the devil. Now, she's letting him know that she's willing to turn on the 2 people that done made her some money. Willing to cut them loose. She goes down there, picks up the pack, brings it back. Now look here. The 2 people that she's in cahoots with, they don't know what she got in to say. If they give her a pack, 2 packs, whatever the case may be, she can tuck both of them, or all 3 of them, and bring them on in. They'll never know because that is between her and one of the guys now. See what I'm saying? They'll never know. So now she's getting a little money from them and a little money from Bro. But Bro's whole agenda is to eventually cut the other 2 all the way out of it. And he just wanted to see where she stood on that, right? But here's the thing. I miscalculated something on Bro. Because he told me that he was really just trying to see if he can get her to just break away from the other 2 dudes. I should have been thinking. I'm normally calculating stuff out right. But what he really wanted to do, he wanted some pussy. That's what that was all about. Once he got her to go against the move that they had all established, the 3 of them had established, now he felt like he could push on her and she would have to do it. You feel me? Because, see, he was willing to play them against each other because they were the police. That's how this game go. That's how the game go. So when he bumped down on her, he tell her, "Look, when you come in, I need you to holler at me in my cell." And she's like, "Nah, we'll just keep doing it." He's like, "No, you misunderstanding what I'm saying." He said, "Man, I'm trying to get with you." She's like, "No, I'm not on none of that. We just gonna do business. And he said, that is the business now. And if you don't want to do business like that, I'm going to just tell them that you bringing in packs for me. So now she's looking at him and she's scared. One, in her mind, if he's willing to tell it, he's willing to tell it, period. Two, she don't want him telling the two people that done introduced her to this money because they might get mad at it. Nobody knows what kind of relationship she's got going on the town with them. It's been rumored that she messes with one of those officers. So now she don't want that person, if that's true, to believe or to know that she done betrayed him. So now she's between a rock and a hard place. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Well, y'all know what she did. You know exactly what she did. She went in his room and tried to talk him out of it. He got a little aggressive. He didn't do nothing. He got a little aggressive. Spooked her. But now, the people outside the cell, because it's always people out in the pod, y'all. People outside the cell, sitting, listening, hearing what's being said, all this and that. Now it's blood in the water. It's blood in the water now, y'all. This fool has gave up his source. Everybody's thinking. So when the news came to me what he had done, I pulled him to the side. I said, well, you done messed that up. You done messed that move up. So she goes and tells the two people that she's been in cahoots with what he did. They bumped down on him. Now everybody, all four of them is spooked. They don't know who's going to do what and all this. So I'm leaning in the cut. Now they know he the folks, so they come to me. They ask me, can I take care of the business, make sure he don't say nothing. I play stuff. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm not finna get into that. But whatever y'all got going on is between y'all. And I said, the folks don't do no telling. I know that was a lie. Folks tell all the time. You know what I'm saying, y'all? They tell all the time, but you know, the appearance of things has to be put out there. You feel me? So I'm talking to them, they're talking to me, and now I get brought to the side. I like, look here, you better get all the money you can because your days are numbered now. These folks not finna play with you. So he goes back and they all sit down and talk about it and they work it out. They get things back the way they were. Now they're making money. But don't forget, a lot of other people know now. Everybody on the compound is hearing about the move he got. So you got other gangs bumping down on him like, can we get in? Can we get in? That's just to see where he's at. You feel me? Then they start bumping down on all three of them. Well, at first they started on her. And then they started watching and doing the same thing that I did to see who she talks to. Now they start bumping down on all three of them. Because they know she can't run and tell it. She can't run and tell it because she don't know what everybody knows. She's suspicious now. Has he said anything to them? She knows she's dirty. That's one thing about knowing when you're dirty, y'all. When you dirty and somebody bump down on you and they're not sure that you're dirty, but they know enough, you don't want to say nothing because you don't know what they know about you. And that's how she felt. She couldn't go tell it because she don't know how much they know about it. And what if push came to shove, she gave up the bid. If they gave up the business on her, she would be done. So what does she do? She said, let me talk to somebody and get back. Now she's starting to spread herself thin. You know, them folks down front. And when I say down front, I'm talking about the ward and the big boys, the administration. When they start hearing your name, I'll trust and believe they'll be deceived. But they slick. They got CIs all over the compound. Trust me when I tell you now. And if they don't, they'll find one and break you. That's all they do. And when they catch you, they're going to walk you up out there and embarrass you. I'm telling you now what I know. So let me tell y'all what happened. This is what happened. So she's shaking the spot. She's shaking the spot for Crips, Bloods, Gangsters, Vice Lord, Aryan Nation, anybody that can pay them. They trying to keep up with the demand. They got plenty of money though. They making plenty of money. Making plenty of money. But at some point, luck runs out. Your luck will run out. And that's what happened with this. Her luck ran out. One day she was coming through that gate. They popped her. Flipped her like a hamburger on a grill with 4th of July. I'm telling you now. They flipped her. She gave up everybody, including the 2 officers. They called them down front. They come back on the compound. They start locking everybody up. Guess where I was at? Sitting in my cell, chilling, watching the festivities, because I ain't had nothing to do with nothing. Even if they would have came to lock me up, even though, I've been locked up many times, pending investigation and all this and that. I'm going to sit down over there for 7 days, then I'm going to get out, because that's how long an investigation usually lasts, 7 days. If it go longer than 7 days, you in trouble. You are in trouble. But anyway, they didn't lock me up. They didn't lock me up. She didn't know nothing about me in that way. Nothing about me. And I'm glad she did. Because she started telling on everybody. And when they took little brother to the hole, he sent a note out there, help me. What you mean, help you? I can't help you. Them folks that's in there, that got walked up the compound, they the ones said they were going to protect you. You might need to holler at them. I said, but I told you the game is wrong, man. The game is wrong. You should have kept that close to your vest, but you didn't. But this is what I want to say to those individuals out there that might feel like this might be a worthwhile thing to do. Don't do it. Because the way the game works, the push is going to come eventually. And when the push comes, you're going to find yourself having to make a decision. Do I want to keep getting this money, or do I want to shut down? And most people are going to want to keep getting the money because they think they can control the environment. You might be able to control the environment in here, meaning unlocking doors, locking doors, lights out, use the phone, go to child, this and that, but you can't control the individual. The mindset of an individual that's trying to get it, you don't know what he's going to do. You don't know what he's going to say. You need to remember that. So if any of you out there that might be listening to this and think you want to try to get some money and take advantage of people in the penitentiary that, in my opinion, are the most vulnerable group out there, other than maybe those that are homeless and mental illness. If you think you want to come in here and try to take advantage like that, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it for you. It's not worth it for them. They might not realize that. They may not understand. And I know a lot of y'all that might hear this episode might think, why would he say this? Why would he say this? Let me tell you why. At some point, a man has a person, a human being, I'm going to say it like that because you got people in the women's prison too. You have to take responsibility for your life. And I've come to believe that you can't take responsibility for your life when you continue to do wrong. Period. And I know it's hard in here to get yourself on track with all the nonsense that might be going on around you. But to continue to go down that rabbit hole, it makes no sense. You already know how this ends. Look at it like this. Look at it like this. Let's say somebody comes to you, a designer of a video game. He comes to you and he said, look, I design video games for a living, okay? But I'm creating this video game that's real, dealing with real people. And we're going to videotape you. Now, I'm going to give you $1 million to play this game. Now, if you've ever played a video game, they all have an ending, right? Okay, let's agree on that. And he tells you, said, look, at the end of the game, you're going to die. For real. For real. I ain't talking about you die and then they hit a button and you come back. I'm talking about he's telling you you're going to die for real. But while you're playing the game, you're going to earn $1 million. Now, would you do it? I would imagine, I would hope. And ain't no way out. Ain't no trying to scheme out and get the money and run off this and that. Ain't none of that. Ain't none of that. So, knowing that, I would imagine most people would say, no, I'm not going to play a game for any amount of money, knowing at the end of the game, I'm going to die, and there's no way out. No, you would say no. And if you would say no, then why would you take the chance in playing the criminal game? Because at the end of that game, this is what's happening. You either go to jail or prison, a hospital, or you die. Now, all of us are going to die, right? But the pathway to that does not have to be littered with a lot of pain to yourself and a lot of pain to other people. You can do something that's going to leave some good in the world, not bad. And that's why I tell this story. Because a lot of people get put in positions of authority and don't understand the significance of it. A person that works in a place like this, you are a gift. You shouldn't take for granted that you're here to hurt people, harm people, anything like that. We're going to be around you more than we're going to be around our own families for whatever amount of years that we're in here. Be the role model. Be the standard. Because your job should start with wanting to make society a better place. And the easiest thing you can do to make society a better place is to be the right example for those men and women that you are in charge of. And that's coming from somebody that's been here for a long time. You feel me? And I get it. I get it. You might get outside the means and living outside your means and all this and that. But you can get that back. Work some overtime. Stop spending all your money on Zoom Zooms and Wham Whams and tennis shoes and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to wrap this thing up, y'all. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.